episode this today, man. We're gonna be talking about, some things that are pertinent to our community. Um, I'm glad everybody's doing well. Welcome to another edition of the Mondeh Report. I have none other but the wholesome gentleman with me. I got T in the building with me. I got OG Cloudy in the building with me. I got Rambo KO4 in the building.
Yes,
And all of
sir.
these guys got something to tell me, man. How y'all feeling?
Hey, we feeling good, boy. How you
I
feeling?
bet. Man, I'm alive. Shit, I'm alive. I'm in charge. And we about to attack these topics real quick, man.
Yeah, we in your world tonight. Let's do it.
I bet. Let's get the first one started. This might we gonna come out swinging tonight. Of course, your boy Phil hosting. And I need to ask all the guys on the panel a serious question. What is more important in modern relationships? Money or love? And anybody can take the floor. I'll start with my ideas of it. I think that on social media, money is like elevated as far as like what somebody might need in order to date a particular person. But I think that's a lot of cap. I think that money is important in relationships, and it has become more important than love overall, but I don't think it replaces love at all. What y'all think?
It's
Um,
a tough one, man.
yeah,
I go love, man. I feel like love still kind of matters, man. I feel like that's the foundation of the relationship,
For sure.
and if it's gonna be a success, there has to be like a commitment, and usually loving the other person, I feel like makes that commitment a lot easier.
Yeah.
Um, because even if you got the money, like we've seen just a lot of instances of people going to court and all the stuff that goes along with, you know, situations that don't work out. And
Right.
and so I vote for love, man.
Okay.
Obviously you do need the funds to survive,
Yep.
but I feel like after a certain point, I feel like if you have enough just to like support yourself, support your family, I feel like money isn't really a factor after a certain point. But yeah, I go love.
Okay. Okay. I think what a lot of people like try to do, they try to like they say the money helps the love grow. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
like you could spend money on a trip that y'all share and y'all share that memory together, or you can, purchase something to make her like feel better about her day or whatever, or you just got the means to be able to make emergencies and things go away as quickly as they came. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe that can help out with the love. What you say, Kane?
um, I think the money aspect is it plays two parts.
Okay.
The money aspect, on one hand, is to accommodate lifestyle.
Right.
Money, on the other hand, is also used as like a trophy,
Okay.
like as a flex, I guess, or just something to say like, I have this.
Right.
Because when people have money, they think that is like above everything.
So you saying the money is more of a status thing rather than like a real thing. So like they
Yes.
include the money to up their status. Okay. All right, keep going.
like, and when I say people, some people feel like money is like above everything. Think
Right,
about
right.
how many times somebody has been called out on some BS, and they be like, "But you ain't got no money though. I got more money than you." You get what I'm
Facts,
saying?
facts. Yeah, for
So,
sure.
so on from that aspect, I look at the money thing two ways. I
Right.
also look at love different than a lot of people. A lot of people describe love as a feeling,
Okay.
but I look at love as more of a action word, a verb.
Okay.
Um, I don't um love you because I feel like I love you. That feeling is more so. I mean, I do love you, but it's more so I care about you, and you what you mean to me.
And what I'm willing to
I'm
do
I'm
for you, right?
showing you, yeah, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
and
What I'm willing to
everything I
sacrifice
do for
for you.
you,
What I'm
yeah,
willing to
yeah,
sacrifice for you, for sure.
right,
Yeah.
everything I do for you is what I'm willing to sacrifice because I love you.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because some people can say they love you and they do feel some type of way about you, but they emotions might not be regulated to understand what emotion they really feeling.
Right.
Because somebody can say they love you and be knocking you upside the head all day, every day.
Got you.
Or, you know what I'm saying, stepping on you, or um not being considerate of you. You know what I'm saying? It's all different ways where somebody could choose to show love or show the opposite. But
Yeah.
all in all, um I think people don't think about love as like the first, like I don't think love is the highest priority.
Got you.
Um but not saying forever, but I think it's like a timeline thing.
So you saying that you gotta have the money to get in the door and then the love come later.
No, what I'm saying is I think men and women both do want love, but I
Right.
don't think that's what they want the most
Okay.
until they hit a certain point in their lives.
So you think they want more so status rather than like the fulfilling relationship.
Right, because I feel like as a man, we would like to have stuff kind of in order or together before we settle down.
Right.
So even if we want to settle down with somebody, we might be hesitant to do it because we don't see it unless we can get to a certain point, whether that's
Gotcha.
all
Gotcha.
right, I need to get to a point where I'm making salary,
Right.
or we need to have a home,
Yeah.
or I need to graduate, whatever that may be. With women, sometimes I feel like, and I'm not a woman, so I'm just speculating, but I feel like women sometimes prioritize love when they can't get everything else that they want.
Gotcha. Okay, then
So
let me ask Cloudy. What are you thinking about, Cloudy? What do you say?
Well, I definitely can see everybody's point of view. I think money, I can see where money will outweigh everything just because, you know, when you value the money more in the relationship side, you probably are looking more at, um, the security and
Right.
the stability and,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, the leisure and everything.
Right.
But you guys make some very interesting points. But that's also why, from old fashioned uh beliefs, you go and you get you know what I'm saying, you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You go
Right.
into a relationship ready for it. You're already established and things like that. So you're more fit or prepared for, financial hardships and things like that that
Right.
may arise in the future.
Right.
But personally, I would value love more, but just from a wisdom standpoint, like, you know,
Yeah.
um, since I'm a parent now, you you want your kid to be stable and secure, man.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the only reason why I go with the money, bro. But let me know what y'all think.
I think for
Yeah,
I think for me, man, I think about like dowries in a sense, right? Like how men in other civilizations and societies
yeah,
would approach the idea of marriage in the sense of like giving up some type of monetary value in exchange for that woman. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And how that kind of like is not necessarily held to a standard today. Like it's not as commonplace today as it was in yesteryear. But I think that's like I think it's probably like money has always been a part of this because the two common denominators when you got love and money together is human. And I don't think that those two things really go too far away from one another
Hey,
after
but
a
hold up,
while.
hold up. Let me just push back just a little bit because you were saying the dowry. A lot of that is also because women were the helping hands in farms and around the house,
Right.
and when you were going to approach somebody for their daughter, you two might have already been dating anyway. It's not like. I mean, in some cases, she may have been a total stranger to the man, but in some cases, they may have already had a relationship, but and taking her away from her family, you would offer the family some type of finance so it'd be less of a hardship on them. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But my bad for cutting in.
Nah, you
That,
good. You good. You good. That's what we need.
I,
Go ahead, Kane.
I was gonna say also, if I'm not mistaken, it was also a form of vetting.
Okay.
So when somebody
Facts.
would offer like a dowry, it was the greater the gift would show like that they had resources to take care of the daughter because it's like your father basically giving you away. Now that you are not under my covering, I'm giving you away to somebody who has the ability to keep you under their covering. So back in the olden days, when somebody would give you a pig or a hog, it might be more than one person trying to give a dowry for the same daughter. And the like in the movie Holes,
Yeah,
where they picked the guy or the pig with. Well, I mean, he was
Is
trying to decide between the two hogs. He was like, "Well, which one's fatter?" And then he got upset because he like, "Man, I really loved you. Like, why you ain't just pick me?" You feel me?
yeah. I never
So
knew that had to do
Hey,
with
hold up.
dowry.
Did you say the movie Host?
Yeah,
Holes
yeah.
Oh,
with
oh,
Shia
so
LaBeouf.
okay.
That's crazy. I never knew that had to do with
Yeah,
dowry.
and I also feel another thing I wanted to say. I think money has more to do with it than love because men generally have the idea that women don't care about you um, without the money.
right.
So they're not even looking for love because they're not expecting it without the money. Well, some men, you
Mm.
get what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right.
So
And
men,
yeah, I
some
get you
men
saying.
is
Like the
putting a
money, like the
priority.
money, like the money, like solidifies or their value. Like it just makes them more valuable as
Right,
men.
right.
Right. Okay. Okay. So it sounds like that the answer would be money. It sounds like that in relationships in general that you have to have the economics necessary to be able to facilitate what might come up with you being with somebody. Like you got to figure out how they gonna eat. You know what I'm saying? You might have to figure out like they might have a health issue. You know what I mean? And you might need economics to be able to get out of that situation, right? Or navigate that situation a little bit better. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah,
man, I don't think that I think what's probably the issue is just the messaging around it all together, right? Like how you're just absolutely not valuable if you don't have a certain dollar amount attached to your name as a man. Because we all men here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We all like know what we hear online as far as what makes a man valuable. But I think there are so many other things that makes a man valuable than just him producing a lot of money economically. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like the flip side of it, right? Would you rather have somebody with a whole bunch of paper, or would you have somebody with a whole lot of character? It just depends on who the person is, I guess, at that point. Um,
Right.
and I think to me, character weighs more than money, because money is something that it's not necessarily intrinsically tied to anything in particular. Like if you know how to work a good scam, you can get a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? They don't necessarily make you a good person. You
True.
know what I mean? So I think that they're two of the same, but you can't have one without the other. That's what I would rest that on. And if anybody has any final statements about that, feel free to share with me. But if
I
not,
think
we gonna go ahead.
I okay, so let me ask y'all a question.
All right, go ahead.
I'm assuming, don't answer, but I'm assuming everybody has heard the phrase "love don't pay the bills," right?
Hmm.
All right, now think about all the times you done heard it, and think about whether a man said it or a woman said it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then that's where I'm gonna land.
Yeah,
Bet.
see, I I I would flip what you said, Phil, and say that they're both interconnected, but love leads, more than money.
Okay.
Be my vote.
Okay. Okay.
I think the money like logically just matters more to some
Yeah.
people because it does more. Like love, it does a lot for me and you, or for me and the person I'm in a relationship with, right? But this money, this can do for me, you, your parents, your kids. You know what I'm saying? Like
Facts.
it has way more impact and effect on
Yeah.
us in our livelihood. And when
Right.
you think about how women don't really have the force application of men, so they're really in a sense like in survival mode, and you get what I'm saying, or at
Yeah.
least whether they know it or not. So that's why
Right.
they'll be like, I'm gonna go in this situation even though the person providing this situation isn't the best or isn't gonna care, like, you know what I'm saying. It's
Well, I
like,
would.
but I ain't gonna have to worry about where I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna
True.
have this, I'm gonna have that taken care of,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I can, you know you
Okay.
know
So I think what I'm gonna pick up what you laid down. Yes, I've never heard a man say anything like love don't pay the bill. You
because
feel me?
the bills is paid because I love your ass enough to go do all this
Nah,
shit.
real shit though. Yeah, real shit. Real shit. And I'm looking at some numbers right now, right? And I'm looking it up and it's like, I'm sure y'all seen in the news all the layoffs and the things that's going on, right? And they was saying that black women was probably like disproportionately affected the most by it. So yeah, for sure. Like when we come to pull up these numbers and we start looking at it like from a real vantage point, like Shawty really don't even gotta have no whole lot of education. You know what I'm saying? Long as she like doing the right thing, like she'll be married. You feel me? I think the biggest thing for like black people is that for whatever reason, we don't think marriage is the solution. But we gonna get to that later on down the road. Cause my boy T got another topic for me, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about that. So we're gonna slide into a little bit about our biological health, man. Um, how do y'all think that the American diet and our habits is destroying our ability to think? Now, let me provide y'all with a little statistics if y'all don't mind. There has been a self-reported cognitive decline amongst adults over the last decade. They say that people have reported to have a cognitive disability from 5.3% in 2013 to 7.4% in 2023. And they said the trend was most pronounced amongst adults under 40, where rates nearly doubled from 5.1% to 9.7%.
Mm,
Um, there's also a lot of studies that's come out, especially in the last year or so, that specifically speaks toward ultra processed foods. Now, that's a lot of what you might see on the middle aisles of your stores, like your sugar cookies, your chips, just like little snacks that you might have laying around the house. They say that people who ate high amounts of ultra processed foods were more likely to experience cognitive decline and stroke. Now,
mm,
while those who mainly ate unprocessed food had a very reduced risk.
mm,
Specifically, there was a 10% increase in ultra processed food consumption, and it was associated with a 16% of higher risk of cognitive impairment. Um, so like and ultra
mm.
processed foods, guys, are just really like, your deli meats. If you see like if you go on the aisle and you see like bologna, you see hot dogs, you see foods like that. Those are some of the things that may or may not be leading to cognitive decline. Um, as well as just if we sit back and think about like how we consume different items in general, like let's say our television consumption, or we might be talking about just how much time we spend on our phones or in social media. We're gonna hit on that later on as far as how tech applies to this. But just think about the American, like the average American and what they do. Like you spend a lot of your time within your cars, driving to work. You work a job where you're mostly sitting down, right? And then when you come home and you get off of work, you're so tired mentally that you're not really even doing anything except like watching the screen and or playing the video game, or you're not really doing anything productive outside of work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You give most of your productive hours to your employer, and then when you come home you just want to relax. You know what I mean? So like, what do you guys think about some of the things that I've presented to you all, and how we could probably improve our lifestyles by thinking about what we're eating and what we're doing when we have free time?
Yeah, like ultra processed foods, man. Like that that seems like something that's like well ingrained in like a lot of people's diets. Like just how we've been preserving food, just going back to when they first started like building refrigerators and freezers and things like that, and how over like decades that just became just really like well ingrained in everything we do, just like buying like those processed meats, those, cookies, the cereals, things like that.
Yep.
Lots of sugar, lots of salt, you know. Yeah, it's that's gonna be hard to kind of take out of, you know, people's diets. And it also, for me, I'll just say it just makes me think about whether or not what RFK Jr.'s doing, whether or not that even makes sense. Because a lot of what he's saying is a lot of what you just said in the opening, Phil. Like, there's just a whole bunch of things in our diet that we probably shouldn't have, moving forward. And so for me, that's just something to think about. Like, obviously, when we first came up with this topic, my mind went to fast food, just thinking about just how often people might eat fast food every week and just how that kind of affects people's diets and kind of trickles down into kind of other habits,
And I do a stat that John Hopkins released. They said
Yeah.
that nearly 75% of the U.S. food supply is estimated to be ultra processed.
Wow. Yeah, like it's just I don't know. It's gonna be something to really think about, like, because you at the end of the day also you really can't tell people what to do,
No, you can't.
and in a lot of places they make that like a political talking point, like, don't touch our foods, don't tell us what to eat. And so when like Michelle Obama was doing the stuff with like the school lunch, there was like a big push against that, because she was saying, oh, we need to be eating a few more healthy things. But, you know,
Rightfully so.
I don't know. Like, but see, the stuff she was talking about was questionable though. She was talking about like, I don't know, like taking, you know, flavoring out of milk, like no chocolate milk, and just serve them, 2% milk. And I don't know, man, but I just think it's something to think about for sure.
The real problem is that more than half of the calories that an average American adult consumes come from UPFs, but in children, that number is more than 60%. So, like, our kids are being affected by the fact that we aren't responsible enough as adults to tell like ourselves that convenience isn't necessarily the thing that we should be desiring as humans. Um, I think that we've come to a place in our lives, especially with just the geopolitical climate that we come to, that we can't afford to be seeking convenience. Um, those who provide convenience for us also want to use that convenience to steer us in a particular direction. And I think that's what this food crisis that we have going on really means. Like, because our food is our medicine. And if we getting heroin for medicine, you feel what I'm saying? Like, we only become addicts. But let's open the floor for Cloudy and Kane to speak about it, because I'm sure they have some good insight for us. And y'all can speak whenever y'all feel like it. Just
You go first, Cloud.
You know, it's you got some people, especially them don't tread on me folks, who argue with the factual um evidence and statements you guys just laid down, bro. Um, and T brought up something, you know, and I just had to double check because that's right. Um, that's just another thing that makes me even madder about the current administration, and this just me personally. Because here's the thing, you know, the reason why we even have Happy Meals with apple slices, because Michelle Obama. You know what I'm saying? Man, like it was getting to where
Crazy.
kids in the second grade look like, I mean, the fat kids in the second grade look like fifth graders. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how that shit used to look. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers eating Happy Meals all week. Ain't ate no fruit. And a lot of the data that Phil put up, man, like just thinking about how 75% of the food supply is ultra processed and
Hmm.
what that means. Like, they don't want us to grow food. It used to be a time where most of our ancestors grew nothing but fruits and vegetables, man. What we know from science is that fruits and vegetables promote healthy digestive systems. And in order to have long, healthy lives, what we know from those people in Okinawa, who are some of the longest living people, is that you need to have a healthy digestive tract. One thing that counters that is having a diet with ultra processed food. The fuck is going on, man? How how I just want to know what part of making America great again is that. You know, it's just, man.
Empty words. That's what it is.
It's just all these people, man. It's just, man. They don't fuck with motherfuckers, bro.
Nah,
I really don't, bro.
nah. Like we can't. Like I was saying earlier. Like we just as we go into some of the crises that's going on in America right now with this episode, like we're gonna see that we have, as a people, we have to begin to align ourselves to a different tune. We got to start marching to a different beat. But I'm gonna let Kane speak on what he want to speak on in this topic as well.
Muted.
But yeah, I don't. You still, Kane? You still with me?
Muted.
I don't know. But I would provide us with some solutions for sure.
All
Um
right, I'm here. I'm here.
okay.
So what I'm gonna say is, I feel like this is a result of two things. Cloudy kind of touched on it, on the direction I'm going. Um, I think one is the fact that we like basically losing recipes. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm pretty sure like we used to probably like make our own bread. Like, you know what I'm saying? Make stuff from scratch, basically. Like everything, even if it meant waking up early in the morning. And that's one thing. Cause like making dough or making bread is not even really that long of a process, honestly. If you got everything you need and you know what you're doing, it don't take long at all. I see videos of people making biscuits and pancakes and stuff from scratch on Facebook, just in one video. Everything they mix together and then them putting it in the skillet and everything. So I think it's losing recipes is one thing. And I also think, at least in the 2000s, I think it was a lot easier for this to become a thing because of how cheap everything was. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Little Debbie's used to be like four for a dollar, two for a dollar. You know what I'm saying? Ramen noodles, cheap. You get what I'm saying? A lot of families probably one don't know where a butcher, probably don't even know they can order meat from a butcher. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
directly from a butcher. They probably don't know that they can, and they probably don't have the funds to buy in bulk or storage. You know what I'm saying? Imagine somebody living in like Section 8 and they only have a small refrigerator. You get what I'm saying? So I think money is another thing, because a lot of people say don't buy like the hamburger meat that's in like the Walmart, the Publix. It don't even matter where it is, Publix, Target, all that. You still want to buy directly from a butcher if you're gonna eat that. That's what people say. But a lot of people don't have no better option. It's like, well, it
Mhm.
when it comes to circumstance, put it like that. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to circumstance. So I think losing recipes and us not knowing how to make stuff from scratch, you know, if you go like by seasoning, if you look on the back of a seasoning bottle, it has all the ingredients in there. A lot of that stuff is dried peppers, dried onions, dried garlic. You can make that by yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can make that, you can do that yourself and without the extra dose or whatever chemicals, you know what I'm saying? That's also in the ingredients. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff is losing recipes. A lot of this stuff is not having the funds or the resources. And also, like Phil said, a lot of this stuff is just giving most of our productive, like our mental and physical energy to our employers. And then when we get off, we just trying to get everything done in enough time to get some rest to go do everything over again. So that's my take on it. I agree with everybody.
Man, you know what? I don't really like to be that guy that like presents problems and don't provide solutions. So I got a little something for the people that, if you want to just take advantage of trying to get a little bit more control over your diet, a little more control over trying to improve your cognitive ability. Because guys, as we go further into our lives and we introduce technology like AI, and different technology like virtual realities and augmented realities that we're going to have to experience, we're going to have to protect our cognitive ability even further. So, so things that the people can implement in ourselves, we can implement in our lives, is something that we have that's called a Mediterranean diet. Now, that's a way of eating that emphasizes plant-based foods and healthy fats. So that's your green leafy vegetables, that's your fish. You're getting nuts in your diet, kale, spinach, collards, broccoli, foods that are rich in vitamin K. You got luteins, we want to focus on trying to make sure that we get like these healthy fats in our diet. You know what, guys? If y'all like to sip a little wine, make sure you get some of that too, because that helps keep the heart merry. That's according to the Bible. We want to make sure that we get in walnuts in our diet. We want to get omega-3 fatty acids in our diets. We get that from salmon. We want to decrease the intake of red meats, sweet foods and things of that nature. We want to make sure that we do these things so that we have a good cardiovascular health, we have good digestive health, and that we have something that doesn't take away from us, but yet add from us. And something that I would actually think about everybody who's in the audience adding to their lifestyle is actually fasting. According to Johns Hopkins neurologist, Dr. Mark Matson, intermittent fasting enhances brain-derived neurotrophic factor signaling. And what this pretty much means is that this is necessary for cognition and antidepressants. So think about your brain being able to think better as well as handle tough situations better just by, you know, fasting or not eating. You know what I mean? They say BDNF enhances neurons' resistance to stress, and it promotes the formation and maintenance of synapses. During fasting, nerve cells go into a conserve resources mode, so they reduce protein synthesis by suppressing, uh, this what they would call a mTOR pathway, you know, and this what this pretty much does is clean up the brain cells, and it reduces the effects that or reduces the symptoms or the environment that will lead to Alzheimer's or even Parkinson's disease being developed in your brain, guys.
Mm.
So um, we kind of want to make sure that we implement some of these things into our lives. I understand it is going to be difficult, but we shouldn't expect life to be easy. Guys, we should probably think about our lives becoming a little bit more harder rather than a little more convenient. Because if we continue to lean into the convenience, I think that we will not only begin to lose our ability to think, but we'll also lose our ability to make sure that we are individuals just going forward. Okay.
Yeah. Quick quick question on that. So, as far as like a recommendation, do you believe vitamins are a good part of that solution?
Some of them.
I don't think so. Personally, I think we should try to use food as our medicine to get certain things because what I think we get from supplements, we lose in our ability to be able to process that naturally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what if we recommend vitamins to somebody, right? Like a person know how full they're gonna be, right?
Yeah.
But if you're just taking vitamins, like you just taking vitamin D or something, right? And you
Yeah.
just you supplementing that, like what happens when you become reliant upon that? Like
Yeah.
what happens now you have slaved yourself to the pharmaceutical company that's providing you this vitamin D in a convenient way. You dig what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah.
So it's more so us understanding what our food has, what nutrients our food has in it, and how we can be able to extract that in the most natural way possible in 2026. Because
Got it.
let's just be real, we're not getting natural foods as we speak. That people were extracted from the earth 500, 600 years ago.
To what you just asked, I would say some supplements can be healthy and do what they need to do, right? But as also to what he said, just I mean, considering what he said, I support you. I mean, not support. I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not against you doing supplements if it's health reasons. Like, okay, I can't really do dairy products for vitamin D because I'm lactose intolerant, and you know what I'm saying, just gives me gas or something. You get what I'm saying? In a
Yeah.
situation like that. But just to do it when you could just drink some milk or eat some ice cream or something, not ice cream, maybe, unless you made it like yourself. But you get where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Also, as somebody who's been fasting, you can start small. You don't have to go, in it 100 miles per hour. You can, some people in some cultures fast every day of the week that they were born. So if you were born on a Wednesday, you would just fast every Wednesday.
Hmm.
Some people do it every other day. Or some people will do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then every other day, you know, it's whatever. Um, some people fast where they don't drink anything or eat anything. Some people just don't eat and they drink water.
Yeah.
Some people, fasting isn't only from food. Fasting could be like, if you drink, you might just only have a drink after hours.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, you can fast from social media. But what I will say about fasting helping is when you stop consuming things,
Yeah.
your body gets it from what's already inside you.
Hmm.
So it'll help like with your metabolism. It'll You know what I'm saying? It'll
Yeah.
because when you stop eating after a certain amount of time, your body, I think, goes into ketosis.
Hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, I might have this wrong. I might be misspeaking.
Nah, you're not misspeaking. Your body go into ketosis after a while when you don't eat.
You know, and
Yeah.
also, another thing Phil said, as far as we should want things to be harder than convenient. I agree with that because studies show that when you do things that are hard, difficult, or stressful, you build what's called, I think, gray matter. I be saying I think because I don't want to just be talking like I know what I'm talking about and I end up being wrong or misspeaking. You get what I'm saying? But I kind of feel like I know what I'm talking about. But like
Yeah.
studies show, like when you do stuff that's hard, difficult, or stressful, um, your brain creates like gray matter, and that helps you like live longer. And I think it does apply to your cognitive um abilities as well. So I just wanted to share that and
Yeah.
back up what they were saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good insight.
You
I
know,
just be seeing a lot of people go around with protein shakes, and I'd be like, is that shit working? Or you know what I mean?
No, shit not working, bro. And,
Yeah.
and then not only is it not working, is coming from a source that they may not agree with. Like a lot of
Yeah.
times, I was like, and y'all can look this up. Like they're grabbing this protein from insects. Like people would not be eating insects just normally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that whey protein, you heard? They getting
Yeah.
that from the mealworms and stuff like that.
Right.
Hell
What?
yeah. Boy,
Real talk, bro. And and it's like people are just like buying shit because it got a cute label on it. You know what I'm saying? And it
Yeah.
because it's trendy.
right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you don't even know what you put inside your body, bro. Like
hey,
how
hold up though. Hold up. Hey, this random though, but y'all drink that matcha?
Yeah.
no, I don't
Every once in a while.
What it
You
tastes
know
like?
Like they put some candy in some tea.
that ain't what's up, bro.
Yeah, I was about to say that don't sound appealing.
Nah, bro.
Kevin
That ain't.
Durant just passed
you
Michael
recommend
Jordan for
you
fifth.
recommend us partaking?
Say what? I heard the Kevin Durant passes MJ part. I'll react.
My fault. I just
Yeah.
seen a notification pop up on my screen. My
Yeah.
fault.
Salute to the homie though.
He passed Michael Jordan what?
And scoring.
All time scoring, all time.
Yeah, that shit don't even matter no more. You know what I'm saying? Now that KD done did it, LeBron done did it, KD done did it, goddamn, like, it ain't measuring by Mike ain't gonna be easy to do after a while.
Yeah.
6 rings though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nigga ain't did that
Uh,
shit in no sports.
yeah, for real.
that's real talk.
Tom Brady.
Except for Tom.
I'm saying though, he didn't do two three peats, did he?
Nah, he ain't do two, three picks.
Nah, Tom ain't do that.
The only person close was like Kobe, but you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Nick Saban had the game on lock.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He
What's
had
his name? LeBron could have did it if he.
Hell nah.
Let's not
Never
even
mind.
get into that. Let's not even get into that. But all right, guys, let's talk about something different. Um, Coming up, we're gonna talk about Negronomics. All right. Unfortunately, a lot of people will take this as what they call CRT or critical race theory. But these are just facts, guys. Um, and I want to just highlight how, like, and I want to ask y'all something, right? How has a lack of ownership and production from the means of Black Americans led to the degradation of culture in general? And when I present this question to you guys, I just want to like take a step back. I don't want to get emotional about this. You know what I'm saying? I just want to provide us with a little facts, right? let's go back in time. All right, let's do a little time travel. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but back in the day, there was something that was called the Freedmen's Bureau. Now, this was established in the years of 1865 and 1872, right? These these this was set in place for Negroes after the Civil War to be able to, produce economically in the United States of America. Now, they called it the Freedmen Saving Trust Company, right? Now, between the years of 1865 and 1871, listen, y'all, that's 6 years, right? They opened some 37 branches or offices in 17 states in the District of Columbia. In less than a decade, there were 70,000 depositors, right? That opened and closed accounts with bank deposits, real money, totaling over $57 million. Okay? Now, up until the year 1910 or 1919, African Americans amassed 15 million acres of land in the South. Okay? Today, 97% of that land has been lost. When we go into what that actually means from a dollar perspective, that means $250 billion to $350 billion in today's currency has been lost over those hundreds some odd years. And that has led to the wage gap that exists between white Americans and Black Americans. And I think that us losing that ownership of land and that means of loss in production overall to what actually contributes to an economy, that has led the byproduct of that has been the loss of integrity amongst Negroes. It's like just us advancing in not even just in the world, because we're seeing now that like our world has been dictated by people rather than nations. Like what we have attached ourselves to as far as like patriotism has robbed us from what really matters, and that's our people being seen as a collective tribe. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't really produce anything, and it's because that we've been robbed of billions of dollars through things like the Housing Act, the Housing Homestead Act, where they're putting highways in the middle of African American communities, just absolutely destroying communities of people that have things that belong to them simply because they don't want a group of people to have anything. And I think that what we're experiencing, as far as like if we just even think about what's going on down there in what had happened in Houston recently with spring break, where people went down to Houston to have a good time, but their idea of a good time is revelry. Is their idea of a good time is fucking shit up and destroying shit and fighting one another. You know what I'm saying? Because their inhibitions have been lowered by alcohol. But we just talked about it, right? If your inhibitions are lowered by alcohol and you already eating shit food, you're gonna make shit decisions. Like niggas don't fucking produce their own food no more, bro. So like they eating the motherfucking ramen noodles and shit, dog. You know these niggas is going back to their dorm rooms because these are youngins. These are the young motherfuckers, man. And we can't blame them. We gotta blame the fucking parents, bro. We gotta blame the grandparents and the great grandparents, bro, that put this shit in fucking place. Cause these are the people who really gotta bear them sins. You dig what I'm saying? Like I can't judge a man until I see what the fuck his child does. You know what I'm saying? Like you pass down who you are to those under you. And what we've received, bro, is bullshit. But just think about it, right? If we was up 350 bill, think about it, bro. Think of just fucking like put it in your fucking mind, bro. If niggas was up $350 billion right now, bro, we wouldn't be acting like that, bro. We would have our own spaces where even if we did act like that, could nobody say shit about it because we got our own money and we pay for that. We paying to have that good ass time. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I just want to pass it off to y'all, bro. I want to get out my soapbox. What y'all
Yeah.
think about them numbers that I share with y'all?
But 350 bill might be a conservative estimate because some people might say that, you know, black people are down trillions of dollars, going back centuries, And so I feel like that's kind of realistic, you know what I'm saying? Just asking for something like that. But, just going to the question, um, I feel like having factors of ownership is like the key part of it, having ownership to things, ownership to like factories, just your own, masters. Like if somebody owns like your music library or owns like, your academic degrees or whatever, just having the means to those things, having ownership to property. I feel like that sort of stuff takes away confidence from people, like the same sort of confidence that, other people are able to go around the world with. You know, I feel like that's like what's been taken from a lot of black people, not just here in the United States, but also, elsewhere, like Brazil, Africa, you name it, you know what I'm saying? But I just feel like speaking for here, you know, I just don't know what to say, man, just because this point has been made for so long and people have ignored it, and yet we still are like reproducing a lot of like those problems today. And so, that's my take on it. I definitely agree with like a lot of what you said, Phil. Like just looking at some of those numbers, like from, the Freedmen's Bureau having something like that in place, like
7 years,
financial institution,
7 years, bro. They
Yeah.
amassed millions of dollars in 7 years, bro.
Yeah. And they just they threw that away. And you could imagine what it would be like
No, it
150
was
years
stolen
later.
from them, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stolen.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, bro. And and people say that the children shouldn't know about this fucking history, bro. No, they should, bro. They should, bro, because it would just make more sense of the times that we're experiencing now, bro.
Yeah.
Like think about if you grew up and you knew that the country that you believed in, bro, didn't fuck with you like that, bro.
Hmm.
It'll make sense why it'll make sense why this episode happening, bro. But I'm gonna let the other guests on the panel
Yeah.
speak on what we got going
And
on.
just one last thing on the Homestead Act. I feel like that was important too, just because it shows just the contrast of you take away stuff like the Freedmen's Bureau, but you allow the Homestead Act to allow like property to like multiply,
Right.
for so long. Like I feel like that's the key right there.
Cloudy, Kane, let me hear what y'all brothers got us think about this that I just presented to y'all, man. I'm sure anger and just This belief is existing in y'all minds right now.
It's 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 kind of like hard to even imagine.
For sure. Being
Not gonna lie to you.
$350 billion, bro. And the government that says that you are a human being and it says that you are a free individual does to you, dog. It sounds like an enemy, bro. If a nigga steal $350 billion from me, who is that motherfucker, bro?
Not my friend. But
This shit hurt, bro.
when you said some people feel like kids shouldn't when you said like people think kids shouldn't know about this stuff. It was a clip like a week or two ago that was like going viral, and like this white woman and her kid was sitting on the couch or whatever, and the kid had like a book or a magazine or something. I think it was about Martin Luther King, and he was saying like, they shot him, and she was like, "Who shot him?" And she was like, "The white people." And he was saying like, they're bad people for doing that, and he was like, "We gotta get them." He was like, "We gotta get them." He was ready to slide for MLK, and then the mother kind of nipped it in the bud. You know what I'm saying? She was like, white people aren't bad. There are some bad people, but white people aren't bad. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever she said to kind of nip it in the bud. But that's like the first thing I thought of when you said that. Um, Black people, we really like what we what we are with $350 billion. We would probably be in charge. Not in the sense that
Absolutely.
we not in the sense that we just taking control of everybody else and we
Right.
making them bow to us,
I
but
know
we probably would have like all the resources. We will have everything that's popping. We because
niggas will
we the
become
most
us.
creative.
Niggas will be coming to us and asking us what to do next. Yes, I
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, you get what I'm saying. So we the most creative, the most athletic, the most attractive. Um, you know, I mean, I ain't saying we perfect or we above anybody or we are better than anybody because other people and other races, other ethnicities have pros about them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying nothing like that. And I honestly think, black people, if we were on top like that, I don't think we would act like that. I don't think we would look down on them or nothing like that. I think it would be the complete opposite of what we have experienced. Um, so that part I can see, and I can kind of see why some people were acting the way they were acting when Black Panther came out and they were doing all this Wakanda stuff because like that's what I was saying. Like I can see that. I can see Wakanda being a real place, like in every sense of the like outside of the supernatural, what I'm saying, powers and stuff, or what I'm saying, how they had the most money, they were advanced technology wise, probably all of them warriors in shape. You didn't see no fat people, what I'm saying, in that movie. Um, so fat people, overweight people, whatever. Um, but I'm saying that to say when I spoke in the past about technology, um, we were using it kind of wrong, or I felt like it was like holding us back in a sense and kind of putting a cap on our evolution and our capabilities. I think
I'll get into that too.
I feel like we could have been something, maybe not to that extreme because Wakanda is fiction. You get what I'm saying? But we could have been something, you know, something similar.
Got you. What say you, Cloudy? Do you have anything to contribute to the topic, man?
Well, I just want to piggyback off a lot of what you said,
Okay.
and man, look, can you just tell me that number again? That what the land um acquisition was around 1910 before the drop off? What was it? And,
So the it says African Americans amassed up to 15 million acres of land in
okay,
between
15.
between the years of 1865 and 1919.
Okay, fifth. Oh my God. Okay, and 97% of that is gone to date.
Yes. In,
I
in
just
2022, the Land Loss and Reparations Project estimated the total value of black land loss due to discrimination, theft, and violence alone is worth $326 billion.
and many people were tricked out of their land. Um,
Mm.
but we were all taught this back in U.S. history, man, and he kind of refreshed us with the Homestead Act, and which did entail stuff like redlining and shit like that, man. But if that doesn't enrage ancestors of those people, bro, y'all just playing, man.
Bro, they saying that it would take $15 trillion to eliminate the wealth gap between us and white Americans.
And I believe it, and that's probably just being modest, man.
Bro, 15 trill, dog. Do you
And that's
that,
just
that's
being modest.
that's a quarter of the fucking national debt right now, G.
But a huge part of wealth is financial literacy in itself. That's why I say 15 trill is just being modest, because
Mm.
you can't put a dollar amount on educating people in financial literacy, bro. You understand me?
Yeah.
Absolutely, bro.
Jesus Christ. That's some real shit, man. I'll leave it alone, man. I appreciate y'all for that, man.
Yeah, man. Let's move on to the next topic, guys. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get a little bit darker in this motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about how technology has taken from us more than it's gave to us. You know what I'm saying? Like as we begin to allow the oligarchs who are in control of the society that is on the Western Hemisphere, as we allow these men to dictate what we shall do as far as our economics, it's taking, is it giving more to us or taking away from us? I want to provide some statistics, some studies that have been done over the last few years over just how the technology that we're consuming, because honestly, guys, we're consumers. Like we just have to be honest with ourselves. We don't produce a lot of the things that actually mean something in this life, like food, like 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 real resources. Like a lot of us don't work at steel mills. You know what I'm saying? A
Hmm.
lot of us aren't mining resources. You dig what I'm saying? You know, we're not plumbers. We're not builders of society, right? A lot of the men that exist today aren't, right? So
Yeah.
just we have to like what we do, a lot of our work that we do is done in front of screens on computers that does most of the heavy lifting and most of the heavy thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And like these people continue to provide us with technology that I believe continues to take away from us. Okay. Uh,
Mm.
Let me pull up some stats. Can you guys give me a second to get my things together? I'm
Yeah.
gonna provide y'all with some statistics about how technology, like things such as social media, iPads, iPhones, these things have created a cognitive decline over time, right? So just give me a few seconds, please, and I will get that information for you guys. Okay. And here's what I have to offer, right? So, screen time. Everybody knows what screen time is. It's just you looking at your phone, right? 6 hours a day or more can lead to a decrease effect of gray matter in your brain, which is where information processing take place, and it can comprise up to 40% of your brain. So think about that, guys. If you're spending 6 hours or more on your phone looking at your phone, you're you're decreasing your ability to process information by 40%.
Hmm.
Americans currently average 7 hours of screen time. There was a 2025 study done where they were just measuring real-time brainwave activity during social media use. And what they came to find was that the there's a fatigue that has been created upon the minds of people that use social media over a long periods of time that kind of affects with your emotional regulation and your ability to stay focused. Um, Using wearable brain scanning technology, researchers found that after brief social media exposure, participants showed a reduced accuracy in executive functioning actions. So it's just them being able to make decisions for themselves. You
Mm.
dig what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and think about shit like TikTok shop, right? Like just think about it, right? You already are spending money that you don't physically have in your hand. And you're pulled by your emotions from a particular, TikTok that you may have seen, and now you're spending money on a particular product that may or may not benefit you later on down the road. But that 34 or $50 that you spent might fucking put you back 2, 3 months because you were supposed to spend that on your bill that you had. You ain't bought no food in your house, dog, and you on TikTok shop buying shit that you don't fucking need. Dog, y'all want to know something, bro? The short form video market, that's TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, is projected to reach 640 billion dollars by 2035. That's a whole fucking market, bro. That's a whole fucking market, bro. Short form videos, $640 billion by 2035, nigga. That's 9 years from now.
Crazy.
Bro, like Colleges like Yale have conformed these algorithmic recommendations. They are designed to pull your mind into this shit even more. It says the most effective social engineering tactics: authority, commitment, consistency, urgency, reciprocity, or reciprocity. Excuse me. I'm a nigga. Excuse me. I can't speak all the way well. Overwhelm the target's critical thinking by triggering emotional and instinctual responses that short circuit rational scrutiny. Listen, y'all, they got us on a fucking leash. They got us on a fucking string. And if we don't take our lives and our fucking brains serious, bro, we're gonna lose what we have that makes us individuals, bro. I want to open the floor for everybody else to speak on what the fuck did I just presented to the family.
So I would say that what you said would lead me to believe that you take the worst side of the argument that integrating technology
Yes,
is making us worse off because we're more dependent. And just the stat that you said, you spend 6 hours on it. What was it? You're 30 or 40%
yes,
down in terms of like cognitive ability and like loss of gray matter, or
right.
is that right?
It's
Yeah.
decrease of gray matter,
Yeah.
and that
That's
and that just affects your information processing ability.
yeah. That's wild. But I'll take the better argument. I'll say that everything's a little bit better because of technology
Okay.
and that things are more efficient. Like you can, if you need a ride and don't have a car, you can, hop on the rideshare app and get a ride just, with the snap of a finger.
That's true.
And you don't have to have cash. You can, use your Apple Pay or you could use your, online banking to make that transaction happen. You can
Hmm.
order food. You can, communicate with people more easily. You can see what's going around the world, um, more easily and faster, which, can, you could, obviously with like a lot of current events, you could be like, all right, we don't really need to know all that information, but if you travel a lot, it's definitely something that helps you just being aware. Um, as far as like dating, I feel like that's kind of gray area just because it's like dating apps are like hit or miss depending on what the app is, and you could argue that
Mostly
not
miss.
mostly miss. All right. Um, you could argue that it's better to have like the face-to-face interaction going and like, talking to people face to face, going to the bars, going to the malls to, you know, um, get a few numbers or actually like put names to faces, instead of just interacting on social media. But, I feel like even with that, people are getting more opportunities with that, but it just goes back to the conversation that we had. If you got the resources, you can make that happen, you know. But like staying on top of what's going on in sports is a lot easier. Um, I just feel like it's mostly a better type thing. I just feel like it's made life a lot easier. Um, you could argue that it's made the world a more dangerous place, because technology's advanced so much and is integrated, with using like AI for weapons or just how advanced weapons are getting now. Um, but I just mostly feel like it's a good thing and, and all the negatives are um outweighed by the positives because of that.
Okay.
That's my take.
I like that perspective. I like that
Yeah.
perspective. I don't necessarily
Yeah.
provide any pushback so far,
Yeah.
but I'm going to open the floor for other guys, Claudia and Kane specifically, to share what they may think about it. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm going I'm gonna provide a little fight back towards things that you provided, Tom.
All right.
I feel like it's definitely um more to our detriment than it is, for our betterment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Two things can be true, you know. It can be convenient and it can be efficient, but it can also be
It can be.
a cancer
Okay. I like that. Why do you say that? Why do you say it could be?
because in the past I've spoken to um we can only speculate or we can only just kind of imagine, but at a certain point technology capped us as people.
Yeah.
I feel like the human species has done more in the past with less
Right. I agree.
than what we have today. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, we have all this technology, but we also have people who don't meet certain requirements, but because they know people or people know them,
Yeah.
they can kind of get around certain things and it isn't as noticeable or it isn't as bad because of technology.
Right.
When you have programs that you can type a question in and it can be built into a toolbar on your internet browser to give you a whole answer
You want,
or
you want to know something that just reinforces what you just said? There was a study done, right, by MIT Media Labs. That was those guys were found in the in the Epic files. Um, they were saying that once you outsource your thinking to like a AI bot like ChatGPT, the brain doesn't necessarily automatically reclaim that capacity. So like once you do your outsourcing of thinking, like you like once you put that question into the ChatGPT bot, you know, whatever your brain was thinking about at that time, it's not it's not influenced to continue to do that research no more. You feel what I'm saying? And it just goes to back what you was just saying. I'm sorry to cut you off.
oh, so, I've seen studies that say if you do things like problem solving, if you always do that, I don't know what happens, or I don't remember what happens, but the result is your brain, you basically live longer because your brain will,
Mm-hmm.
since you're always like problem solving, your brain will be sending problem solving signals throughout your body to make you live longer.
Okay.
I have an aunt who passed away. Phil, you was at my family reunion.
All right.
In the past, I think since the last family reunion,
Mm-hmm.
before that, one of my aunts passed, and she was like the eldest in the family at the time. And I think she was like late 90s. And I can remember when I used to live in Walker County before I moved to Tuscaloosa, she would always be doing these little crossword puzzles. They used to have these books with the
Right.
little crossword puzzles in them.
Right. Right.
And I think that that's kind of like proof. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's you know, but my thing with them was, who's to say, they say humans use like 5, 10, 15, 25% of our brains. Who's to say that by now, if we didn't kind of lean on technology so much, we could have unlocked 25, 35. I mean, you know what I'm saying? 50% of our brain. Who's to say we wouldn't have more than what we have now?
Well, just to like kind of like take what you were presenting to us a little bit further, man. Like some of the things that we can do to regain some of the things that we're talking about that we lose when we give outsourced our thinking to AI, man. We could just really read books. We can just get back to reading books and just reading like fiction novels because there have been research done that says that if you continue to just read fictional novels, you can like be able to empathize with other human beings just a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? And be able to have like a shared thought process to where that you guys can begin to think better about particular things more so than just outsourcing your thinking to AI. But I'm sorry for cutting you off again. But I just needed to provide that because I wanted to reinforce what you were saying.
Um, no, no, no. That's good. That's good stuff right there. That's good stuff right there. Um, but yeah, I was saying that you see these videos. Well, not see these videos, but maybe on movies, maybe in real life, maybe you've heard stories of a parent when it's time to help their kid with homework, they're like, you know what I'm saying? They're asking for help, or they're looking it up, putting it into a calculator,
Right.
or asking Chat GPT.
For sure.
And it's not because they don't know it or they're dumb, but we grew up in the era where calculators became like the norm.
For sure.
So it's been so long since you've had to solve a math problem, like whether it's division and you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
cross
mental.
multiplication,
Yeah, mental math for sure.
um, to where you don't really, it's kind of blurry. You're not really sure what to do.
Right, right, right.
And it's not because you don't know it or you never learned it. It's because you haven't used that muscle. The brain is a muscle. It's like if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
Same with a lot with other stuff. And that was my whole point. So everything I said in the past kind of just agrees with what you saying and reinforces what you saying.
Okay. Cloudy, give me some insight, man. I want to hear what you got to say about this, dog.
Man, look, man, I think y'all pretty much hit it on all points, man. I'll just say, technology has definitely made stuff easier, but easier isn't better. It's
Right.
pretty much what Tom McCain said, and you as well. I mean, we can't really disagree with that, man. Um, it has made everything more efficient and everything. Um, I think for the people born in '80s and '90s, especially, um, and I won't just say it's like regional. I'll just say it's like those people born in those decades, especially when it was really a technology boom. We've been able to utilize tech probably the best. Of those people, not we've, you know, maybe a little bit of '70s in there too, but people who were able to experience that in their educate their secondary and primary school education,
Hmm.
the different waves of technology. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From the implementation of search engines from Ask Jeeves, Yahoo, you know what I'm saying? How to utilize search queries and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? If people were really, you know what I'm saying, saw that and you know, at least made C grades, then they probably retained a lot of that stuff. But not everybody got that. So that's also where a lot of what Kane and them was saying comes in. Because just being real, a lot of this generation when they get to 21, 22, they're not gonna know what slope intercept form is, or not even. Like
Yeah,
that's not gonna resonate in any type of way. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
For real. And it just hit me when they were talking. I think it was Kane was talking about how people help their kids with homework,
yeah.
and they're going to the AI now, and that's really where we're at with it. So how how can you say that's better? Yes, easier, but you know. Easier isn't better, man. And I'll let Phil get back on that.
Hey, I just want to say, also, um, as far as AI and all this stuff, almost in every movie, right? In almost every movie where there's a AI and it's meant to like solve problems like worldwide, like major problems, not like not like the Tony Stark AI where it's like it's developed just to help him and do everything he needed to, but in like AI in the idea that's gonna change the world, right? In almost every story, the AI don't stop with solving them problems. They solve they eventually want to extinct the human race because we essentially are the problem.
Hmm.
So you think you're gonna create this program that's designed to solve all the problems, and we just gonna achieve this perfect utopia? You think it's just gonna stop without trying to put us in check too?
Debatable.
I'm just saying.
Especially if we the ones that need to be in check.
Cause like think about it. And some of them, they like they already in the beginning, like they just show like in the movies, they just give you a signal or they show you that the AI is already like, I gotta put something in place just in case these humans want to turn me off. You know what I'm saying? Shut me down type stuff. So they already in the background working on a contingency plan for everything. Like you can't, and it's the crazy part. It ain't necessarily that the AI will be smarter than us. It would be that we so dependent on AI that our thinking skills would be lower. So we would be caught off guard. But I will also say this: not too long ago, Phil. I mean, I know you probably can hear me, but not too long ago, there was people. It was going viral that kids couldn't read a regular clock, like with the two hands on it. Do you know how crazy that is?
You know
Hmm.
what? I seen it. I actually seen it.
Do you know how crazy that is?
Yeah,
That kids can't
yeah,
tell time
yeah.
because they never grew up with a clock like that, and they had
Right,
to.
right.
And
Like I remember being in daycare. I remember being in daycare and having to do that. Like having to tell time. Like they'll put time down and they'll say what time is 2:30, and I have to use like the little baby clocks to fucking put it on there. And that's like I remember doing that, bro.
Yeah, but and I brought that up in the past to my point that was saying like, um technology is taking more away from us, like your point. Because I think this might have been the week that you had missed. But because I'm like, what if the power go out? What if we just
You
all
know,
the
shit. Like, how do you fucking get energy from the earth, and you ain't got nobody to fucking give you some power, bro?
yeah, but like what I'm saying is as far as the technology, what if the power goes out? Because all this is powered by,
Through
you get what I'm saying?
through
So
electricity, right? Through electricity.
so then what you gonna do? If all the power like on Earth, nobody has electricity nowhere, what are you gonna do? You need to know how to use a phone book, bro. You need to know how to read a
Ah,
compass.
Phone
You know
book.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, nigga, you need to know how to make a fire.
You need
I
to know
was
how to
just
read a
about to
map.
say that shit.
You need to know
I
how.
mean, but I mean,
I was thinking about the phone book.
I
Not gonna
mean,
Nah,
a
lie.
fire, of course, but I'm
fire.
thinking of everything. I'm thinking of everything you would use technology for. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
First,
yeah,
of
You
course, of course,
know,
you need a fire
yeah,
and stuff.
you gotta
yeah,
But
yeah,
huh?
yeah.
eat. How you gonna eat if you ain't got no heat?
Nah, hold up, fam.
But
We
listen
gotta
though,
pause. The phone
but
book,
heat ain't
bro.
got.
Phone book,
The
nigga.
phone book. You gotta
Yeah,
clarify that. You
Bro,
gotta.
how
that
many
shit real as
got a
fuck.
phone
Can't I
book?
agree?
Do any one of you niggas got a phone book in your house right
But
now?
look, I was finna say
Hell
that
no.
niggas don't memorize
Nigga, is
numbers no
Yellow
more.
Pages even still
They
made?
don't. Niggas don't memorize numbers no more.
Online.
Yo,
Niggas,
Online.
Pages still exist, nigga. That's
Yeah.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
I've seen one recently, and I think it was in Tom Car.
yo, it's
yeah,
cold,
exactly.
He
nigga.
That's
got
why
it
I
from
was
the
like,
It
yeah,
was
hotel.
in Tom
Yellow
Car actually.
exactly, nigga.
Hell no.
Exactly, nigga.
No fucking way, bro.
Exactly.
There's no way the Yellow Pages still exist, bro.
Yeah,
Yes, bro.
Hey
hell
T, y'all
yeah.
got Bell South at the house? Y'all got the Bell South yellow pages?
Got the
Nah,
best
nah,
out,
I don't know if it's Bell
bro.
South.
Hey,
That
logo
shit might be yellowpages.com.
70s by Bell System era
Yeah,
AT&T, nigga. AT&T been holding the game for a long time, dog.
Nah, AT&T bought Bell South, bro. That's who had
yeah,
that shit.
yeah,
Bell South had the game on lock, bro.
So AT&T snatched that shit up. You right.
yeah.
Yeah, damn.
Crazy.
They getting greasy, bro.
Breeze.
Now AT&T treat everybody like $2 hoes. They
Straight
like
up.
we got
Straight
we
up.
got the
Oh,
best.
nigga, hey, I stopped fucking with them folks. Ooh,
We hey they like, hey, we got the best service around. Where you gonna go, baby? Huh?
shit.
Where you gonna go?
US Mobile. US Mobile. Shit. Shit. Shit.
Listen,
I'm in the doors. Get you a US Mobile account, my nigga. If you already own your phone, get you a US Mobile account.
But
You
you can't talk from the garage with that US Mobile.
shit.
Hell nah. Your shit be sounding
Shit.
like AM radio.
Shit. Shit.
hey, look though,
I'm on the same network y'all niggas on.
That's
look though.
it.
One,
All right, touche,
one time,
nigga.
one time AT&T had pissed me off so bad. I was like, all right, watch this. I went to Sprint and they were like, you just give us an iPhone, we're gonna give you the newest one free. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have like everything unlimited or whatever.
Right.
Then the service bad. Then it's like my internet was only fast for like 3 days. And I'm like, hey, what?
Yeah, they
They were
hit
like, you know what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, you used up all your.
Yeah, that was some funny shit. Hey, Sprint came back out for like 3 months in the city, bro.
hey, hey, Sprint, hey, Sprint was popping out here in Dallas though. Niggas don't know. Hey, when listen, bro, Sprint was that shit out here in
Do
Dallas.
you know how big Dallas is, bro? They probably had like 18 cell towers around that motherfucker. You heard?
Bro,
Yeah.
bro, niggas from Dallas was telling me they'll put me on game. They say, hey, we had Sprint, and then Sprint got bought by T-Mobile. Then we had to switch over to T-Mobile. Most niggas in the city of Dallas had that Sprint motherfucker because they had the most towers here.
You sound like the nigga that sold Kane that Sprint phone. Had him thinking he was gonna have 5G.
Had to humble myself. Look, and then the crazy part. Did the crazy part,
That's
fool.
in Alabama though, bro.
Did the crazy part, fool. I gave Sprint my iPhone. I gave them like a lesser. I had two of them, so I gave them the older one, and then they was just like, "Shit, that's ours now." I, they let me cancel the contract. You feel me? They let me get out of that, but they were like, "This phone, that's old with. That's you feel me?" So I had to go back to AT&T and humble myself. You feel me? And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
it is what it is.
They ain't back.
All right, guys, man. Let's go into something a little less lighthearted. We're gonna talk about the NBA. Now, I want to ask y'all a real question because I've been watching the NBA over the past few years. I've been watching since I was a young boy, right? And it seems like it was easier to follow the game back in the day than it does now. Like if I try to watch a basketball game like on a Saturday night, you know what I'm saying? Where do I go? Do I go to ESPN? Do I go to ABC? Do I go to TNT? Do I go to Peacock? Do I go to Amazon Prime? Do I go to Disney Plus? Do I go to Hulu? Like, and we talk about the basketball game, and we watch it, and we see guys like Bam Adebayo have 83 points, and we're not impressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, just overall, we're not impressed. Um, we see other people like do different things that are extraordinary in the basketball game, and it's just like it's consumed in a very light spot, and then it's forgotten about. You know what I mean? Like, who has had a breakout season this season in basketball? Like, I guess the question I'm trying to ask you guys, man, does the NBA have a gameplay issue or is it a marketing issue? Like, does is the game that we're watching on screen, is it digestible, or is it those who are surrounding the game focusing on things that doesn't fucking matter?
I think I think it's both personally.
Okay.
I think as far as gameplay, wait, what was it what you said? Is it this or that? What you
Is it
said?
marketing or is it gameplay? Like, is it is it
Okay.
is it the way I sell you my product, or is it what my product actually look like?
Um I think it's both. I
Okay.
think it's more the marketing right now.
Right.
Um I think the marketing, I feel like they're too money hungry right now. You get to a point, some companies or corporations, they get to a point where they hit a high and it's kind of like maybe addicting. It's like, now I want to see how far I can push it. So they'll start going against morals, or you know what I'm saying, the right thing to do to just see how much they can get. Um, it's kind of like when a company, they're like, "Hey, we're going to if y'all work 14 hours a day or whatever, and we meet these quotas or whatever, we gonna give y'all a little bonus, or we gonna give y'all some incentive." It's like that. It's like one of them situations. Um, the NBA getting into bed with all these other companies, whether it be the gambling companies, whether it be, what would you call like a Peacock, the streaming, yeah, the streaming services, them getting into bed with all them, and more or less, you know what you call a streetwalker, right? So I wouldn't say, hmm, we're gonna say pouring themselves out. But you get what I'm trying to say to each and every person they can. So Peacock, I'm gonna take your money and we're gonna give you a certain division or these mini games and that y'all can play on y'all platform. Disney Plus, we got y'all another little set of games or whatever. The actual league pass, which is not a freaking league pass, if you can't see the whole league, how does this make sense? Anybody? I don't know. But we're gonna give league pass maybe more than everybody else, but he still can't see every game. Then yeah, we're gonna the gambling, yeah, all this. They was gonna have a Magic City night. I ain't saying I'm against that. But what I'm saying is it's obvious that they'll take it money from anywhere. You got following me?
Yeah.
I'm following you. I'm hearing what you're saying, bro.
Then as far as the game play, I think I think the Steph Curry, LeBron, KD thing, I think that took a lot of wind out of the league. I think it was really good up until it became all about like Steph, LeBron, and KD. And I say that to say because people was already mad that LeBron got up with Chris Bosh and D Wade, and it's just like, well, if y'all gonna do that, and then we know who gonna win every year. You get what I'm saying? What's the point in watching? It only got sweet because we seen Dallas put switches to britches. So we like, hold on. This nigga might not be who y'all saying he is. Cause how he do all that and end up with nothing. Of course, he redeemed himself the next few years because they went 4 years straight. They lost the first one, they lost the last one, right?
Yep.
So then you got Steph, Clay, and Dre. They come up and they ain't no super team. They drafted. So everybody like on their side, they pushing them. They like, yeah, they ethical type. That's the new word these days, ethical. You know?
Yeah.
So they beat LeBron. So now everybody like, yeah, y'all see, y'all, yeah, all that team stacking, yeah, just for KD to join them. Then everybody like, all right, bro. We just seen these folks go 73-9. Was it 73-9?
Yay.
We just seen these folks go 73-9, and then they gonna add KD. Who beating that? So it's just like, you get what I'm saying? It's another point where the wind get knocked out of you, just like, because everybody like, we know who the MVP gonna be. It's either gonna be Steph, LeBron, or KD. We know who probably gonna win. Ain't nobody beating the LeBron team out east. And then you got the Justice League over here, the Avengers. You get where I'm going with this? So it's just like, I'll watch it. I'll wait till playoff time. Kind of like how people do college. Well, I'm gonna wait till March Madness come.
Yeah.
It just makes people more casual. But when talent was more evenly spread and it was one or two guys on a squad and they're the clear guys and you seeing them play at a high level and do what they have to do to carry the team. Not saying that the team was bad, but the other team, they were role players. Now everybody is trying to make it to where a whole three, four, five of, three, four guys on the court are, could be a one, two, three option. And for a lot of people, you know, it's just funner. It's just more fun and more natural to have one or two guys on every team or almost every team, and they battling it out.
Yeah,
Also, as far as gameplay, I just want to say one more thing. I also think your fans is what you do this for. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
I'm talking about the league. Basketball fans is what you should be doing this for, because they're who you catering to. A lot of people are fans to the point where they ride or die for their organization. So a part of them, their love for the game is riding for their team. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, and they might not be them the people you might say not fans of basketball per se, because for one reason or another. But what I'm saying is, if the players themselves aren't competitive, then the fans are not going to be as engaged. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because how I'm going to root for, like, how I'm going to go hard for my team, and the team not even going hard, the team not even showing up. I can't think of a player. Okay, maybe like a Nets. How can I be a go hard Nets fan if I got Cam Thomas? Is that his name?
yeah,
Cam Thomas and Michael Jordan, Michael Porter Jr. on my team. Not saying that those guys are not good, but they don't even care about winning. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's fun to watch as far as just seeing somebody just go off and seeing somebody hoop, but they not trying to win. So how hard can I really go for them? If my team ain't doing nothing, it's just like, oh, well. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, I feel like the competitiveness goes a long way. It's a reason why people are championing Victor Wembanyama. It's a reason why people champion Anthony Edwards. They're great players. They're among the best of the best. They're in the conversation. But part of it is because their charisma.
yeah, big time.
So that's where I land.
Yeah, so I'll jump in here and just kind of explain everything on these slides quick, that why I just thought these were kind of helpful to me to answer this question. Um, the NBA has kind of went back and forth in terms of like style of play and in terms of what fans are really looking for. And I feel like technology also has a lot to do with it. You know, in the 80s, they probably were watching the games on local TV. 90s, same, but you started to see TNT pop up, ESPN pop up. Then more recently, you started to see the streaming apps, Peacock, Amazon get into it. And so I feel like, because of the change in technology, that's why we've seen just shifts in interest. And I also throw in the fact that COVID happened. I feel like COVID had a lot to do with just shifting a lot of people's attention away from sports in a way that harm particularly basketball because whenever people were watching basketball, they had these social justice things on the court, Black Lives Matter, stuff like that all over the court. And so the average fan wasn't really tuning in to the NBA during that time. And I feel like it's been that way almost like that since then. And then, the fact that LeBron, Steph, and KD are kind of aging now, but they're still playing, kind of hurts the NBA because you want to market those guys, but they're, towards the end of their career and they're still playing at a high level. So it's like you can't not market them because they're the most popular players. I have the stat of just like the most followed social media, most followed NBA teams on Instagram. And so you see Golden State, Lakers, Cavs in the top three. And, that's because of LeBron and Steph to me, and it's only recently that we've seen like Ja Morant, and Edwards, Wemby kind of step in, Luka step in to really like give the NBA a picture of what it'll look like after those guys. And so I just say all that to say that it's been more of a marketing issue to me because um the legendary players still matter, but it's like they're still marquee, so it's like you can't push Wemby as hard. You can't push Anthony Edwards as hard. And so that's where I think it is because, the NBA was popular when Steph and KD and LeBron were in their prime. Like the finals ratings for 2016 was right at like 20 million. And so that was as good as like, or around as good as like, the Showtime Lakers, the Kobe Lakers. Maybe not as quite as like, the Bulls in the late 90s, but there was some real interest in what Steph Curry, what LeBron James was doing. And you could argue that that was because Steph Curry was bringing more of the organic stuff back in the game, whereas like, okay, I like that. It looks more like what I'm used to. But that, we could debate that. It's just like a college football fan who might not like the transfer portal, because it's changing how, certain teams look and stuff like that. So I just really feel like it's because of COVID, because of technology, because of, these guys are still good, and so they're still kind of in the way. And but I think the NBA is in a good place because of what they did with NBC, what they did with Amazon. So that's my take.
Um, I also want to say, I had planned to say, I forgot until you started talking. Based on what you, am I muted?
No, you're good. You're good.
Based on your slide, I was gonna say it looked like the league was jumping the hardest when Mike was doing his thing and when Steph was doing his thing. You muted if you saying something. But but yeah, based on that graphic, that's what I saw from that graphic. I will
Yeah.
also say a part of the marketing thing, what you was saying, I meant to say this also when he first presented the idea a couple days ago or yesterday. The league, as far as marketability, the league also, aside from having the game so hard to access, a lot of people who are casual look at these shows like First Take and whatever, and a lot of what they do is, as Phil would put it, they focus on the best players and not the best teams. You know, um, and a lot of times they just creating stuff out of nothing just for ratings. And I feel like that has a lot to do with it as well. So when you could be talking about up and coming teams, when you could be talking about really a lot, you're talking about something about LeBron. Like, is LeBron better than Michael Jordan? Is he the greatest of all time? Is Kevin Durant better than him? Is Steph better than him? Is Steph better than Magic? All that
Ah,
stuff, all that stuff is cool to talk about, but it's not really important. And when you do stuff like that, that creates a highlight culture. So a lot of people also, since we always on the move and we just looking at our screen, it's that's another thing. A lot of people probably don't have the capacity, nor the time, nor the energy to sit and watch a full basketball game. So they'll rely on just the highlights and listening to Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith or Shannon Sharp or Ocho Cinco or whoever,
yeah.
Calvin Cowherd.
It's much more
But yes,
sensationalized.
yeah. Yeah, man. I just feel like it's a like dudes don't even All-Star Weekend means nothing. Like compared to what it used to. They're trying all these different things where they picking teams one year where it's not East versus West, is they just picking teams, and one year is the world versus America. Like they just trying so hard, and it's just I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna take, but the basketball is really just professional pickup, bro. Like that's how like 2K like the like sometimes basketball, like actual basketball, NBA games just look like real life 2K. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it just don't look the same. It just looked so much more intricate, or it felt more intricate. And maybe that's because we was younger or whatever, and we didn't watch it so long now to this point where it just kind of like simplified. But basketball used to be a little bit deeper than what it is right now. And that's just my own opinion. Like maybe defenses were different. Maybe they was running plays. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But Phil, Cloudy, what y'all think?
Man, I think that the NBA really has a marketing issue. Um, when I look across other leagues, I see them highlighting current like excuse me. I see them highlighting players who are like on the like who has promise rather than who's been here established for a long time. I think LeBron James has been in the league entirely too long, probably about 3 years too long. Um, and I think that these guys playing longer kind of just makes it, if it's a false narrative. Like, we know that the Warriors not going deep into the playoffs. We know the Lakers not really going deep into the playoffs. We know that the Rockets really not going that deep into the playoffs. Like the the teams that are gonna be conference finals champion, like contender for conference finals champions, it's probably like the Bucks. I mean, not the Bucks. Excuse me. I'm sorry. The Spurs is what I meant to say. The Spurs, the Thunder, and maybe the Celtics and the Knicks, right? And guys, we haven't brought up anybody from those teams in this discussion so far. We haven't said anything about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. We haven't said anything about Jalen Brunson. We haven't said anything about Wembanyama. We haven't said anything about Jason Tatum coming back. We haven't said anything about Jaylen Brown. You feel what I'm saying? Like, the problem is that the NBA thinks that it can sell us an old product and we're just going to continue to buy it. Like orchestrating putting Luca on a team with LeBron James and they still shitty. Like it's just not gonna sell, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I stand. I think that they should try to focus more so on highlighting the young players who are exceptional, like who really show that they're having fun when they're playing the game. Like the Charlotte Hornets should be a story. You know,
Yeah.
not the fact that they're ass, but just for the fact that they've been able to turn their season around. You see what I'm saying? Like even though we know they're not gonna make a deep run, when we talk about the fucking NBA, I mean the NCAA tournament, we always looking for the Cinderella squads. Why don't we look for that in professional sports? Like, why don't we celebrate the dark horses? You know what I'm saying? It's because the dark horses don't typically have an agenda tied to them. That's why. So we kind of got to just step back and ask ourselves, like, what is really the um the goal here when we talk about the NBA? Like, is it to is it to put butts in the seat because of the product that's on the floor, or is it because you want people to keep up with us in January? We're not even playing basketball. Like, it's fucking ridiculous that most people pay attention to basketball when they not playing basketball.
Hmm?
In the off season, that's when people paying attention to the NBA. They're not playing basketball in the NBA in the off season. They don't dribble a basketball, bro. And they ain't had no lockout.
So what you're saying is it's more about the narratives than the actual game.
Absolutely.
Because that's all that is. That's all that's going on in the off season. Who gonna get drafted to what team, and then who gonna get traded to what team, or who teaming up basically.
Right.
Hmm, I can see that.
Y'all know how Twitter and shit get around July 4th
Hmm.
when the NBA open up their off season. Y'all know how I get. Bleacher Report, CBS Sports, NBC, ESPN, everybody on it. They following it. They tracking it. They looking for Sean's because Woe's not there no more.
Know who did it?
You see what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
The
I think
Kane.
I think the NBA has a marketing issue, bro. I think they want to try to jump in the short form market, but basketball is a game that should be consumed over the time that it is played. You know what I'm saying? Like
They
we
telling us everything but the game.
we should be talking about who's good at playing basketball rather than, you know, um,
Legacy.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they might be trying to sell us. Oh, is Giannis going to the Golden State Warriors? Or, is will LeBron James be able to, like, who gives a fuck about these old guys, bro? Let's talk about young teams. People who haven't been here. Why are we not talking about the Detroit Pistons? The new kids on the block. Kay Cunningham just collapsed his lung. Like how does
What's
that
up?
affect the Detroit Pistons? Will they be able to maintain the 1 seed? Can Boston sneak up and get into the 1 seed with Jason Tatum coming back? Like we should be talking about teams who actually can fucking win the basketball game, not the fucking Los Angeles Lakers, because they can't win.
On a winning streak right now.
Uh,
I was just I was just gonna say, Phil, goddamn, at one point recently they was like third in the West.
are they going to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder?
I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna beat the Spurs. I don't think they're gonna beat the Nuggets either.
Can they beat the Spurs in the 4 game series?
I don't think so.
Can they beat the Timberwolves in the 4 game series?
Well, actually, they might. Nah, Timberwolves no.
What are we talking about? We talking about a team that got some names on it that look good because they always been in the spotlight. And when they go on win streaks and shit, we like, oh, the Lakers are back. Cloudy, let me get some insight, man. I know the OG got to school us, man.
That's what come with the greatness, you know. Lakers, you know, they be winning, man. You know, some of the goats thing came through there, so they be trying to just see, you know what I'm saying? If the greats currently gonna live up to the all-time greats, you know. Just trying to fill in some
Yeah,
dead
Cloud.
some dead space right here.
Yeah, we hear you. We just waiting on Cloudy to goddamn check in with us, let us know where he at.
People trying to hype up the Atlanta Hawks too,
Yeah, they on
because
a
they
winning
was on.
streak too.
Yeah, but look who they played though.
Yeah.
I mean, a win is a win. Don't get me wrong. And
I
you supposed to beat.
think
You
the,
got to beat the teams you supposed to beat
I
for
think the
sure. But
biggest thing is Jonathan Kuminga actually being able to display who he is as a basketball player. And it kind of
Yeah.
how shitty of a coach Steve Kerr is. But, you know,
true. That's cool. But then you got people saying how is Jalen Johnson above Kevin Durant on like the All NBA type stuff.
Hmm.
A lot of people been conversating about the snubs. I haven't looked into it much myself, but it apparently was a conversation. Because Kevin
Guess.
Durant might not have made an all-time team at all this season.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he an all NBA player.
I don't know. He been hooping to me.
Yes.
I said
Y'all think
I
of,
asked
can y'all think of two forwards that's been playing better than him?
I know Kawhi's in the conversation
I
just
was
because of how, yeah, his form. Yeah, yeah.
But like I said, man, I think it's more of a marketing thing. I think they're focusing too much on the narratives rather than what's actually happening on the court. But let's hope that the NBA can get a control of this, man. I think it's a lot of good young talent that's coming into the league, and they need to be represented in the correct way. You know what I mean? Like there is going to be a lot of guys who's going to the league, and it's going to be talent all over the league. They don't need to expand because I know there's been some news about expansion lately. I don't
Hmm.
think they need to expand. I think they probably need to move a couple teams. Like if you want to move a team to Vegas, do that rather than trying to
Yeah.
expand. I think expansion would kind of like dilute the game, and we'll be still having the same problems. The good teams will still be good and the bad teams will be bad. So we need to, because it's not like the talent pool is getting deeper. You know what I'm saying? Like we just came across a draft class that's actually deep. When was the last time a draft class has been really deep like it is now? You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and most of these guys are guards. Like they're not even really big men. You see what I'm saying? Like they're forwards and guards. Then it's not really a lot of bigs that's up in here that's like, like that's able to dominate and really change the trajectory of a team instantly.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of those potentially.
Right. Now you potentially for sure, but
Yeah.
just guys that's coming in that's 7 feet tall, that can rebound, that can shoot, that can play on the perimeter. You don't have that. You don't have a lot of that. And them are the guys that would change a team immediately if they were to get drafted. If it was 2, 3 Wimbeyamas in the draft class type shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think that if we want to really like just celebrate the NBA like to the best of its ability, like to the fullest that it can go, we're gonna need to be able to have a good marketed team around the young guys that's about to walk into this league.
For real.
But if that's it on that, man, let's go. Let's wrap this thing up with the last little bit that we have here in our editorials, man. I think there's an attack on our food supply just in general, man. These wildfires here in Nebraska has been consuming up a lot of farmland. Um, and I think it's just a dis. It just goes to show us how fragile our infrastructure here is in America and how we're probably going to be seeing some increased prices on beef and other food, other like cow, for lack of better terms, cow related products, leather, um, milk, beef. Like a lot of these things are going to affect us later on down the road. I mean, a couple years ago, guys, do y'all remember when there was chicken plants that were burning up in different spots of the country, where there were massive fires happening at these poultry plants?
Yeah.
Um, and we have another massive fire happening in the heart of where cattle is being grazed, and you got a president who believes that buying outsourcing beef from other countries at the bottom of the fucking South America, traveling all the way to America to get into American stores and saying that that's better than providing protection for those who are producing beef in American soils within the American, like are you fucking serious? Like this guy runs his fucking mouth so goddamn much, and he just doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And it's just because things are sexy. When I'm gonna be real, if you're rich in America right now, this is the best time to be a rich motherfucker in America, dog. This is the best time to be rich in America that has ever been because you're getting the best of everything. Everything is catered to you now. Nothing is catered to the middleman, and nothing has ever been catered to the poor man. If you are rich in America, or if you are a part of the top 20% of Americans, a you live a life that is absolutely superb. And it's just and there's no other way around it. And if you're in the bottom 80%, you're fucking struggling. You're fucking struggling. There's a couple emergencies happening from you being out on the fucking street, dog. And it's like we're going to go back into this thing where allegedly Americans voted this president in to relieve costs but we're in a war that's raising gas prices. We have a wildfire here happening in Nebraska that that will not be contained, and they're talking about because the death of an 86-year-old lady.
Hmm.
Y'all don't think that this is directed energy weapons could be at use?
Yeah.
I mean, the same shit just happened in Hawaii a couple years ago.
Yeah.
How soon do we forget about the natural disasters that seem to happen in America every single fucking year? And we're supposed to be just this elite society. No, dog. The the people who want shit to happen to those who can't afford to keep it from happening to them is gonna make it happen, bro. But I'm just gonna share it with y'all. I don't want to talk
Hmm.
too.
Nah, it's wild, man. Like, I don't know. I kind of hadn't really thought much about situations like this in terms of, agriculture and land and how these fires, really could impact the economy. But nah, this seems like a very serious thing that's obviously getting underreported right now, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's the kind of thing that definitely could drive up prices, additionally, because already a lot of these farmers are being subsidized by the government. So, what I'm saying? You tack on burning somebody's land where they can't produce now. Now they're in debt, so big problem, man. I definitely could see it. I could see it getting contained just because I feel like they'll have the resources to contain it, but you really never know.
I mean, we got so many fronts that's happening on our own soil, dog, and we just go recklessly into a war that does not serve the American people, and we did not fucking ask for that.
No,
But we have an attack on our food supply. We have an attack on our lifestyle as Americans. We can't speak the way we want to speak. We're being surveillance. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
we don't have the freedoms that were once allegedly sold to us.
nope.
But let's talk to Karen and Claudia about this, man. What you guys think about this?
Um, to be honest, I don't know what to think. I'm gonna have to think on it a little bit more. To be honest, um, either way, it's tragic. But I feel like as tragic as it is, we as people, not even just black people, everybody as a human being should know how to live off the land. Like I'm not sure if I'm like changing the subject, but I feel like I'm not. Like I understand like our food supply may be in danger or at risk, whether it's intentional or not. I just feel like we should all know how to, feed ourselves. Um, because like relying on stuff like this may not always be an option. It's hard for people who don't own anything and for people who don't produce anything and don't have much of a history doing so, as at least recent history. I know that kind of seems far fetched, but if we had our own land Um, I know people. Well, I know a guy who has like who like has maybe like some chickens and stuff, maybe like some eggs and stuff. And I don't think he has like crazy land. I could be wrong, but it don't take much. You got to start from somewhere, but you don't have to own like acres of land to like plant some vegetables and stuff in your own backyard. You
Yeah.
know, you can buy like some pots and kind of do some stuff indoors if necessary with the right equipment. Um, but yeah, it's tragic to be honest. And if our food supply is under attack, don't even know. I mean, I would hope not.
Worst time.
Mm,
Whew. Yeah, man.
I'm not sure. Cloudy with us right now. Maybe we should.
Yeah.
He can double back and you know give his take somewhere later if he wants to, right?
Yeah.
Cloudy, you here?
I don't know if he's here, man.
Mhm.
Well, Cloud is not here, man, to provide his final thoughts, man. You guys, this has been a great episode. I hope you've been able to gain some insight from this, man. We will be back here next week to do this all over again. We want to say we love you guys. We thank you for all for sitting here and bearing this with us, man. And
Oh,
let's just give these thoughts and these perspectives, let's just put them in the back of our mind so that we can try to be better in our days as they come along, man.
true. I'm gonna also say shout out to Russell Westbrook for becoming top five all time in assists amongst all players. Only Stockton, LeBron, Jason Kidd, and Chris Paul are ahead of him. Shout out to Kevin Durant for passing Michael Jordan tonight. I think
Yeah.
all time in points scored. Um, prayers up for Cade Cunningham, collapsed lung. We want to see him shake back. Um, I'm not sure if there's anything else outside of that,
Okay.
you know, but definitely wanted to highlight all that, you know.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Prayers up to Cade. Salute to all them boys, man.
For sure. But that goes it, man. There's another episode of the Monday Report, man. We'll see y'all next week. Y'all enjoy
Sir.
y'all enjoy yourselves, man. Y'all stay strong in tough times.
Yep. Every day is Monday.
Phil edition.